Come for a walk with me. Let's go and find the UK's smallest used parish church. It's this way. Now, the church that we're heading to is called St. Beunos. And guess what? The only way to get there is on foot. But I guarantee you, it is totally worth it if you want to make this trek. You start off, if you do what I did, by parking up at Porlock Weir, and then the route that we took, it's roughly a 2-mile walk along the southwest coastal path. It's really well known, it's well signposted to the parish of Culbone, which is nestled deep within the woods. And if you're a seasoned walker, then this will be a piece of cake, I guarantee. But if you're not, then you may get a bit of a sweat on, as there are a few hefty hillocks along the way. And unfortunately, due to the landslips that have happened over the last couple of years, there are a couple of diversions that you may need to take as well, which will just make that walk slightly longer and hilly as well. It's quite a shame that the landslide had blocked off the rest of the path, really, because I think on the bit that's closed off is where Ada Lovelace used to live. If you don't know who Ada Lovelace is, then get on Google immediately, because she was a pioneering mathematician that pretty much led to your modern computer, what I'm talking to you on now, being created. She was certainly the first female computer programmer, and she lived right here on the edge of Porlock, and Culbone Church, which is where we're going to now, was her local. No wonder she lived on the flat bit. These hills are blooming killing me. Don't worry though, it's not all hills and getting sweaty, because it is a coastal path after all, so you do get to marvel at some pretty stunning views along the way. Some interesting old buildings as well. We even came across a tunnel as well, which gave us the heebie-jeebies. And the woodland, I tell you what, it is so peaceful. I mean, you can literally hear leaves falling, it is that quiet. Now, before we get there, a little bit about this church that we're going to. So it's basically very old and very small. Those are the two things you need to know. It's actually grade 1 listed, and it's mentioned in the Domesday book of 1086, so it is almost certainly pre-Norman. But the best thing about it is its size. It's 35 feet long. 35 foot, that's it. I've been in bigger greenhouses. Oh, and with that, I think we can see something poking through the trees, you know. See, here we are then. I told you it was tiny. It's teeny tiny. I mean, for a hamlet as it goes, guess how many houses there are here? Nope. 2. There's one just up there and one just behind the church. It's so small, it's so quaint, it's so beautiful, isn't it? Now, legend has it as well that Jesus visited this valley with his uncle, Joseph of Arimathea. So I've spoken to a resident in the past that used to live in Culbone, and he says it feels just a really spiritual place, really, really lovely. But no, I love it here. It's so great. Love it. Let's go and explore a bit more. Here's another interesting one for you. See these windows here? Really narrow, really small. What's the point in having them? Are they even windows? Well, they are. They're actually what's called leper's squint. So back in, well, medieval times, I guess, when leprosy was rife in communities, small communities like this, what would happen is lepers, as they were called back then, they weren't allowed in the church because healthy churchgoers wouldn't allow for it. They'd go in, spread disease, of course. So what they would do is, in order to see what was going on inside the church and obviously pray and worship in the normal fashion, they would look through these windows to see what was going on in the church, so they could feel part of the community. It's quite sad, really, isn't it? But it's what they did back then. And it's a beautiful church inside as well. Shall we go and see if it's open? I'm going to leave you with a fun little story. It's a folklore story, and it centres around the thing that's sticking above me head, the spire here at St. Beunos church in Culbone. And we've walked from Porlock, which also has a church. And that church, as you can see here, in this cheeky little cutaway, the spire, it looks like it's been cut off the top of it, right? Well, Doesn't that look like what should be on the top of the church in Porlock? Well, there is a little story, there's a little folklore story that apparently the devil, oh yes, it involves that character, the devil swiped the church spire off the one in Porlock and it landed here at Culbone. There we go. Little story for around the campfire. Hey, thanks for joining me. I'll see you again soon.